In this quiet light, we open our hearts to the Holy One. As the chosen one, your reputation follows you everywhere you go because everyone is talking about how you expertly destroy phony facades and create an energetic field so strong that individuals spill their secrets like confessions at an altar. Early in the morning, the phone buzzes. Your stomach drops when you see the name, not out of terror, but because you know that the reckoning you foresaw is finally happening. And like water bursting a dam, everything you've been feeling about this person's collapsing facade is ready to come to the surface. The unmistakable excitement that surges through your body when someone in your orbit is about to face their truth was something you sensed coming recently. Like you always do when these premonitions strike, you mentioned it in passing to a buddy over coffee. You stirred your drink, saying, "Something's about to happen with them," with that serene assurance that makes others who don't know your talent uneasy. When you're proven correct, your friend dismissed it as a coincidence and laughed it off. Their whole situation is about to implode. However, your friend knows better in their heart. Everyone is more aware. Even if happiness was being performed for an audience that couldn't see below the surface, you remember this person's stiff shoulders, forced laughter, and vacant eyes the last time you saw them, watching from across the restaurant while the show progressed. You were passed over by this individual. It was simpler, not because that person was superior, because this new individual never questioned your previous relationship to look at the darkness hidden beneath that endearing smile, trusted stories without question, and took half-truths as gospel. You realized then that this universe was made of quicksand. You witnessed someone steadily drowning under the weight of deceptions, while everyone else saw romance and triumph. Spiritual bankruptcy could hardly be concealed by the pricey clothing. Where authenticity should have existed, the ideal partnership was unable to fill the gap. Even the romantic social media posts were unable to conceal the desperation that permeated each well-chosen picture. This is how your gift has always operated. People divulge their secrets to you under some sort of spiritual pressure, or they confess their truths to you without intending to. It's not because you manipulate or pry. The reason for this is that your energy produces an environment in which deception is unable to endure. Whether you like it or not, the masks begin to come off when you sit across from someone. The lies get too much to bear. With poise, the truth begins to emerge from the crevices like weeds emerging from concrete. When you first met, this individual sensed your power. Confessions about financial anxieties, parental desertion, and a tendency to ruin relationships when things get too personal began to flow within minutes of that first talk. Details that are never disclosed to others leak out like leaking secrets. Knowing that more had been revealed in an hour than in years of previous relationships, your former connection exited that coffee shop feeling both free and afraid. This person ran away from you, chosen one, for precisely that reason. You were too much, too genuine, and too able to see through the ornate performance needed to keep people comfortable, not because you weren't enough. Family, if this message stirred your faith, act on it right now. Tap the YouTube Super Thanks and sow a seed of $20, $50, or more. Your generosity keeps this word of hope reaching homes around the world, and what you make happen for others, God can make happen for you. We're believing with you for open doors, fresh favor, and God's provision in every area. Let's agree together and move in faith today. Give, and it will be given to you. Luke 6, verse 38. You pointed things out before self-admission even happened. The way that success would be undermined and then attributed to outside factors. How drama might be produced in order to steer clear of closeness. The propensity to vanish when someone approaches sincerity too closely. Your former connection believed that peace was being chosen the night you were left for someone else. In reality, spiritual stagnation was being selected, a relationship in which it was feasible to conceal oneself behind well-known patterns, where deception would not be confronted, and where the appearance of closeness could be preserved without the risk of being fully recognized. The comfort of being exactly the same was exchanged for the potential for true transformation. Once you've projected your true self to someone and seen their reality, that awareness doesn't simply go away when you walk away. It sows a seed that grows and pushes against the walls of cozy fantasies, making it more difficult to speak lies and more taxing to put on a false front. This pressure has been increasing for months. Every time you look in the mirror and stories are accepted without question, you are reminded of the times you pushed for more in-depth research. The depth of understanding you brought to life is recalled each time a surface-level connection is made. The safety that appeared to be the option has turned into a prison. As the secret to a freedom too terrifying to assert, you have been living rent-free in consciousness. The phone calls continue. The desperation increases with each missed call. Additionally, the excitement is palpable across the digital divide. Unvarnished, unadulterated, and at last truthful about what is desired. The facade is crumbling. The show is coming to an end. And all of your predictions regarding this scenario are coming true with extreme accuracy. This is your selected power in action. Not only the capacity to see past people's facades, but also the power to sow awakening seeds that will sprout precisely when the universe decides a person is prepared for their truth. You don't have to make these changes. You just exude such genuine enthusiasm that people are compelled to compare themselves to the ideal you uphold. Early in the morning, your phone finally goes silent, but you still can't fall asleep. You sense the change occurring in real time, not because you're anxious or unhappy. The energetic landscape around you is undergoing a fundamental transformation, and every vibration of this change is being picked up by your heightened awareness. You're going to face the disclosures that have been building for months tomorrow with the same unflappable poise that made this individual flee in the first place. The words, "Everything's falling apart. I need to see you. You were right about everything," bear the weight of total surrender, and the morning arrives with a text message that would break most people's hearts. The admission of a person who has finally had enough of avoiding their own reality. However, you experience compassion for a soul that has been hiding for so long that its true existence has been forgotten, rather than a sense of fulfillment or validation. This explains why people discuss your skill to identify and expose dishonest people. It's not because you're judgmental or harsh. The reason for this is that the atmosphere you create makes it impossible to maintain pretense. Masks aren't something you attack. You just cast a light so intense that the shadows can't hide. In your company, the truth emerges organically, like flowers facing the sun. Confessions were first made months ago at the coffee shop where you had agreed to meet. You both understand the symbolism. The awakening started here, and it makes sense that it will peak at this point. You arrive early, not out of anxiety, but with the same serene assurance that has gotten you through every obstacle your genuineness has brought up. Yellow heart if you're moved by divine love. Now is the moment to share it. Click the Super Thanks button on YouTube and contribute $50 or more to help us broadcast God's blessings far and wide. Every act of generosity you make is being watched in heaven and will return to you 100-fold. The difference is evident as soon as your old connection enters the room. Simple clothing has taken the place of the pricey clothing. A countenance etched with fatigue, and something else, relief, has replaced a trained smile. The individual who before exuded phony confidence now walks with the shaky steps of someone learning to walk without the support of dishonesty. Opposite you, your old connection sits with slightly trembling hands. And for the first time since you've known this somebody, there's no charm, no performance, and no carefully crafted persona meant to arouse or influence. Just a human being that is at last sick of not being who they truly are. Recently, the relationship terminated. Since you already knew, you nod as the confession starts. For weeks, your gift had been sending signals. The way that conversations about this person felt different. The way that your awareness of the energy signature had changed. The subtle knowledge that the carefully built world was about to fall apart. The fact that the gambling was found. The lies about work and the hidden debt. The weight of secrets held alone causes each confession to fall like stones. Even you, the chosen one, are surprised by what comes next. Laughter breaks out instead of the clumsy emotional collapse you may anticipate. The sincere laughing of someone who had been bearing a load that was never meant to be carried alone, not hysteria. "You told me this would happen," she admits, her head trembling with surprise. This is when your power reveals its actual purpose. You said the truth always comes out eventually. I thought you were being dramatic. You said real relationships couldn't be built on fake foundations. To lead souls to the freedom that only truth can offer, not to foretell disaster or reveal frailty. Your old relationship isn't broken and sitting across from you. What is being felt is freedom. Freedom from the tiresome task of upholding falsehoods. Freedom from the ongoing worry about being found out. Freedom from connections that were only conceivable when concealment was still an option. The words linger between you like a bridge that has yet to be crossed. I want to try again. But your ability goes beyond seeing other people's truths. So you already know your answer, the one you've chosen. It also implies that you should never deceive yourself. It was necessary for the individual who fled from your genuineness months ago to go through this change by themselves. The individual seated in front of you has earned the right to speak to you on an equal basis by working hard and accepting the consequences. However, this does not imply that a romantic reunion marks the conclusion of the story. You no longer feel the urge to save others from their own decisions. You've developed such genuine power in your life that you draw in like-minded individuals rather than those in need of repair. This individual symbolizes your history, a lovely yet essential driving force behind your development, but not your future. You tell him, "I'm glad you found your truth." And you mean it. The ability to honor what was and claim what is your fully realized, chosen power. But I'm not the same person who would have waited for you to find it. To accept someone else's change without compromising your own development. To communicate the truth without bitterness and with love. The crucial story has already been told, yet the talk goes on for another hour. In search of a second opportunity, your previous connection discovered something better, blessings for whatever comes next, and acceptance of the path. Instead of handling a crisis as you had anticipated, you found that your talent has developed into something even more potent than awareness or prediction, the capacity to promote healing without losing yourself in the process. You sense the shift coming to an end as you make your way home from that coffee shop. After weeks of increasing tension, the issue is finally settling into resolution. Now that what was truly required has arrived, your phone remains silent. Not because you've given up. It's your spiritual recognition of change, not your romantic love. Several folks text you about significant life changes that night. Finally, a friend is quitting a horrible job. An unhealthy connection is being ended by a family member. A coworker is launching the company that has been discussed for years. None of them links your influence to these choices. However, you are aware of the pattern. Your experience with your old relationship shook the electromagnetic field surrounding you, causing others to consider their own authenticity levels. This is how your selected gift actually functions. As a part of a wider web of waking that extends from person to person, circumstance to circumstance, and truth to truth, rather than as discrete instances of supernatural awareness. You reinforce this network and help others find their own courage every time you speak honestly rather than tactfully, every time you refuse to support someone's illusions, and every time you choose authenticity over convenience. The phone calls that awakened you up symbolized the crises of multiple people. They signified the end of a cycle that started the moment you decided to live genuinely rather than merely for convenience. You see your old acquaintance at a bookshop months later. This person is with a new partner who obviously understands and accepts their true self, not someone to replace the relationship that ended. The prior performances look like they were from a bygone era because of the new energy, which is grounded and authentic. There isn't any discomfort or ulterior motive when you first meet your new companion. Instead, There's the effortless warmth of someone who appreciates your help in awakening and doesn't require anything more from you. This is the solution you have always been working toward with your talent. The knowledge to sow the seeds of truth and let the universe decide when they will bloom, not the authority to dictate the decisions of others. You weren't supposed to have power over others by forcing them to tell you their secrets. It was intended to relieve people of the weight of bearing those secrets by themselves. Even though the conversation in that bookstore is brief, it brings a story that started with desperate confessions and late-night phone calls to a close. When you chose to hide from potential, your former connection appreciates you for seeing it. You express gratitude to this individual for showing you that your talent functions best when paired with sound boundaries. You both leave knowing that some relationships are not meant to confine us, but to change us. For the first time in months, you get a good night's sleep that evening. The quiet contentment of a story that came to a perfect conclusion has finally been replaced by the energetic tension that has been developing around this predicament. Not only did your gift foretell waking, Dove brothers and sisters, everything done in faith multiplies in God's abundance. Use the Super Thanks feature to donate $100 today and join this sacred mission. When your roots are grounded in Him, your fruit will flourish, and your offering becomes a seed that bears blessed harvests. In the process, it protected your own progress while helping to facilitate it. The same phone that rang in the wee hours of the morning with frantic calls is now quietly sitting on your bedside table. The quiet isn't meaningless, though. It is charged with the possibility of whatever truth want to come to light next, because being selected implies just that, to be blessed with the ability to perceive answers before they are needed, and to have the wisdom to know when to act and when to just observe, rather than being burdened by problems you cannot solve. There will be more chances to use your gift tomorrow. In your presence, people will keep sharing their secrets. When fake situations are exposed to your genuine energy, they will continue to fall apart. No matter where you direct your attention, truth will keep coming to light. You now realize, however, that these encounters are not assessments of your value. They serve as affirmations of your mission. Making people uncomfortable with their chosen lies was never your power. The goal was to make them so at ease with the truth that they couldn't possibly lie. Once perceived as intrusions, the phone calls now become invitations, chances to take part in the universe's continuous endeavor to awaken dormant souls to their own glorious authenticity. However, your impact goes much beyond one-on-one interactions. Enter any room where you've spent a lot of time, and pay close attention to what others are saying. You might be surprised at the ways your name appears. Coworkers mutter that you somehow knew their boss was embezzling before the audit found it out. Family members recount how you exposed a relative's addiction, while everyone else continued to act as though nothing was wrong. Friends tell stories about how they were able to identify their romantic partners cheating before any hard proof surfaced. They speak of you with amazement and anxiety mixed together. These individuals have seen how you can see past intricately built facades. It's referred to as intuition by some. Some refer to it as wisdom. However, those who have personally experienced it realize it's something deeper. You don't merely make educated judgments based on superficial behaviors. Whether or not people want the truth to be revealed, you can access an electromagnetic frequency that transmits it. While scanning your groceries, the grocery store cashier abruptly began to tell you about their custody dispute. During what should have been a quiet trip across town, the ride-sharing driver revealed that they were afraid about losing their business. While you both waited in the rain, the stranger at the bus stop disclosed their family's financial difficulties. These weren't instances of oversharing or coincidences. These individuals were reacting to the unseen message that your energy conveys that it's okay to be authentic here. People who have never shared such secrets with their closest friends are compelled to confess as a result of your gift, which acts as a truth magnet. Observe how discussions change when you walk into business meetings. Observe how being present causes casual conversations to turn into significant ones. When individuals are in your energetic field, Notice how they begin to express their genuine problems rather than putting up a front of politeness. There are repercussions from this phenomenon that go much beyond your direct contacts. That coworker who, after seeing how you handled conflict with poise and authority, at last had the guts to come forward and report harassment at work. They share your example with others. The family member who, after witnessing your ability to set boundaries without causing drama, quit their destructive relationship. They told others about your strategy. The friend who saw how you conducted yourself with genuine confidence and went on to launch their own company. Anyone who listens is given credit for your impact. Individuals are discussing how you have completely altered their understanding of what is possible once a person ceases performing and begins to live. They talk about how you handle difficulties with a serenity that originates from inside rather than on approval from others. They are amazed by your apparent ability to foresee outcomes based on a thorough comprehension of human nature and universal patterns rather than by looking into a crystal ball. These days, your reputation comes before you in ways that can be intimidating. Because they've heard you can see through masks, new acquaintances approach conversations with you differently. Some get defensive and start formulating justifications for contradictions they think you'll find. Others show up inquisitive, wondering if the tales about your keen senses are true. Some people come looking for direction, expecting your talent will provide them insight they can't get from other sources. Everywhere you go, the whispered discussions about your skills create an intriguing dynamic. People observe your responses to see if their own evaluations are correct. Others notice and begin to wonder what they might be missing when you don't care about someone's overt performance. When you gently pull away from someone who initially seems like a charmer, perceptive people start to seek for warning signs they missed. Among people who know you well, your poker face has become legendary. People are drawn to a safe environment where they can hear startling admissions or see dramatic revelations without showing astonishment or condemnation. They are aware that they won't be judged or taken advantage of if they reveal their darkest secrets, worst errors, or deepest worries. People are drawn to you like moths to flame because of your reputation. They are all looking for the sense of comfort that comes from being truly seen and accepted. However, what you disclose about other people isn't the most potent part of your gift. What you encourage them to share about themselves is what matters. Denial is rendered impossible by your presence, and self-awareness develops organically. People start to doubt long-held ideas, look into reasons they've never acknowledged, and see patterns they've been oblivious to all their lives. As more people go through this awakening, the change that is taking place around you quickens. Your genuine energy speeds up processes that could otherwise take years to complete by acting as a catalyst. People who recognize they deserve actual connection abruptly break off relationships that were surviving on habit. Eventually, career routes that didn't feel right are dropped in favor of ones that are more in line. Families that were built on deceit and secrecy start to demand transparency and responsibility. You realize that the changes have been developing beneath the surface for much longer, even if they may appear abrupt and dramatic to outside onlookers. These changes are not brought about by your gift. It merely gives individuals the last push they need to face the realities they've been avoiding. Your energy finds the holes in people's facades and allows the truth to flow through, much like water finds the weakest spot in a dam. People are now actively seeking you out for your viewpoint as a result of the discussions regarding your skills. They know you'll spot their partner's manipulation, so they bring their relationship issues to you. They trust you to see possible issues that others might overlook, so they share their business ideas with you. They confide in you about their dreams because they know you would support sincere endeavors and discourage deceitful fancies. Your capacity to expose dishonest people has become more sophisticated and potent. Instead of only pointing out dishonesty, you've learned to guide others toward sincerity. Individuals, rather than only highlighting the shortcomings of their existing strategy, you assist them in imagining what true success could entail. You push people to investigate what's underneath those protective layers rather than just criticizing their masks. People feel secure enough to willingly relax their defenses, thanks to this improved strategy. They see your perspective as an invitation to learn more about their actual nature rather than as a critique of their character. In your presence, confessions flow from relief rather than stress, from hope rather than despair, and from trust rather than fear. Your reputation for encouraging these self-disclosures has reached new heights. During discussions, professional networks talk about your special capacity to obtain accurate information. Glowing star yearning to witness God's miracles firsthand? Plant your spiritual seed now by contributing $100 or more through the YouTube Super Thanks button. Your offering lights the path for others and echoes through His divine plan, bringing His light into every step you take. People in social groups are amazed at how much deeper the conversations get when you're there. Even complete strangers seem to pick up on your aura and wind up divulging more than they meant to. All of these interactions combined are generating a field of impact that goes beyond your actual location. After experiencing your gift, people begin to demand greater honesty from all of their relationships. They grow more attracted to real interactions and less accepting of flimsy relationships. Perhaps inspired by your example more than by your inherent grace, they start pointing out dishonest behavior in others. Telling the truth spreads like wildfire as a result of this extension of consciousness. Every individual you impact continues to impact others, generating ever-widening circles of enlightenment that stem from experiences with your genuine energy. Your impact extends into communities you have never directly reached as the discussions surrounding your gift grow and proliferate. People say that meeting you was a life-changing event because you showed them what was possible, not because you gave them instructions. They express how relieved they are to be recognized for who they truly are instead of the person they were acting like. They relate how you allowed them to stop performing for other people by accepting them for who they really are. As these experiences mount up, your gift keeps changing. Every individual who confides in you with their truth broadens your perspective on human nature. Your understanding of the distinction between fleeting pleasures and soul-level calling grows with each instance in which you assist someone in discovering their true path. Your ability to maintain space for other people's transformation is strengthened with each interaction in which you are not disturbed by shocking truths. The most significant insight that has come out of all of these events is that your gift was never about controlling other people. The goal was to enable people to recover their own truth. The individuals discussing your skills are aware that your exceptional genuineness, rather than your supernatural perception, is what makes you unique. Because of your psychic abilities, you are able to see through their masks. You've learned to exist without your own, so you see right through them. Let's not sugarcoat it, though. The truth remains concealed. It has been perverted. It has been suppressed by fear, algorithms, and censorship. But your heart never ceased seeing reality. You're still here for that reason. You felt the simulation glitch beneath your feet, which is why you never tapped out. Your true life starts within. The PLE would be upset after just one bite. A single bite would travel over the area. The public would cross the area after one bite. The public would cross the area after one bite. The public would cross the area after one bite. The public would cross the area after one bite. The public would cross the area after one bite. The public would cross the area after one bite. The public would cross the area after one bite. The public would cross the area after one bite. The public would cross the area after one bite. The public would cross the area after one bite. A member of the public would cross the area. A member of the public would cross the area. A member of the public would cross the area. By one. You accept people's confessions as gifts of trust rather than as a burden. You regard yourself as a catalyst for the healing process of those who confide in you, rather than feeling obligated to solve their issues. You value the depth of connection that continuous truth-telling fosters, rather than being overtaken by its intensity. Now, your influence has two simultaneous effects. First, it inspires real confession and connection. Second, It encourages individuals to assess their own levels of authenticity and honesty. The long-term impact of helping to bring about a culture change that favors more openness and authenticity in interpersonal interactions. The discussions surrounding your gift have intensified to the point that new people are seeking you out solely on the basis of your reputation. They come eager to explore the discrepancies between their private and public selves, ready to feel the relief of actual acceptance, and ready for the feeling of being seen. This expectation produces an intriguing dynamic in which the transformation process starts even before you say a word. Just by being in your electromagnetic field, people begin to doubt their own motivation. Just by seeing how consistent you are, they start to notice discrepancies in their own conduct. Simply by seeing how naturally comfortable you are speaking the truth, they begin to yearn for more genuine expression. The power you possess as a result of this gift has matured. Chosen one. You are no longer bombarding them with unwelcome revelations or shocking them with unexpected insights. Right now, you're giving everyone exactly what they need to move forward in their quest for increased authenticity. The discussions on your skills have changed from ones of awe and fear to ones of appreciation and motivation. You realize that this talent was never about passing judgment at the end of the story, which started with others discussing your ability to spot false individuals. It has to do with freedom. Freedom to quit taking responsibility for changes that belong to other people, and freedom for others to fully be who they are. The spiral keeps going up, but the circle is finished. The decisions you make today are already writing the next chapter of your life. The field of waking that unites all truth-tellers, all chosen ones, and all souls courageous enough to live without masks in a society that prioritizes performance over presence is further expanded by each genuine decision. The phone doesn't say anything, but every day your purpose becomes more and more apparent. Chosen one, this is only the beginning. The actual adventure begins.